So we just watched the second episode of The Growth Journey.
Yeah.
Just watched it for the first time.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I thought there was some really good things in there. I like your little test of doing it in public, which is the title of the second show, and I think that it's a good bit of tongue in cheek, and actually it was quite an interesting little test because certainly walking on with a video camera, recording yourself in public, is not typical normal behaviour. I suppose it's becoming increasingly normal. Yeah. You see lots of people walk around with their cameras doing selfies, all that sort of stuff. So it's becoming more usual behaviour, and obviously there's more vloggers, etc. around, so it's something that people aren't unfamiliar with. But it was quite interesting just sort of seeing you doing that and actually actively looking for anyone looking at you, giving you funny looks and stuff, of which no one did. Yeah, and you didn't get heckled in Boscombe High Street, which was...
hopefully more people care when we publish it on the internet than care in the High Street.
Yeah. So I think that was really good. The thing that we were just discussing a little bit offline was just how we could perhaps look at opportunities to make things a little bit more personal, a little bit more focused on the growth message that we're looking at. So what are we specifically doing at LexisClick in terms of helping to drive our growth? So I think something that we perhaps need to look at is just make sure that we're discussing those things. Because at the moment, we touched on those points, but I think certainly from the outside, someone might have to piece that stuff together. There's quite a lot of reading between the lines, and maybe what we need to do is just look at how we can discuss those things a little bit more in depth, so that it's quite obvious. Right, we were doing this for this reason to aid with growth.
I think we're having those conversations, but we're just not necessarily recording them. One of the things we need to get in the habit of doing is just recording more of the conversations we have, because I think we do talk about some of the things which, obviously we spend a lot of time trying to figure out how we're going to grow our business and talking about stuff, but we don't necessarily catch the quick little idea. What about these 30 seconds of something for another?
Yeah. And I think also sort of last week, Agnes. Last week was sort of quite taken up, like we were doing a lot on clients, because we need to get that work out the door, which is really important. But I think the other side to that as well is like, sometimes if we need to do it for ourselves, it's easier to do it for a client first. Yeah. Just because we're not as close to it. So therefore, do it for the client first. And then follow the same steps that we did for the client through for ourselves, which might sound a little bit about face, but sometimes we find it a little bit easier to do it for something different to our own businesses in the first instance. Because one of the areas we were working on last week was going sort of more in depth on the personas and adding some additional elements that we haven't had on our personas before, and we were just running through that for a client in the first instance and doing the research for a client, etc. And then we're going to apply the same thinking for LexisClick.
Cool. I've recorded a little video when I was walking home, and I don't know if it would be before or after this clip, but I was talking about how, I guess it's a similar thing, but it was kind of how I feel like we need to have a bit of a direction as to what we're trying to do, and ultimately it is grow our business, and to have some kind of general guidelines as to the kind of things we're going to record and the way we want it to kind of come across in the editing as well.
Yeah.
Because I think we recorded quite a lot of footage last week, and I think we didn't communicate a lot to Treehouse or the Video Club about what we actually wanted it to say or do or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how much footage it was, but I don't know, let's say half an hour. We've ended up with 2 minutes of footage. And I think that going forwards, we probably need to give them a bit more direction as to what it is we actually want to do, and perhaps make it a little bit more concise, maybe send them less stuff. Maybe we need to do some filtering perhaps before we send it to them rather than sending them more stuff. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work out, but I definitely feel like we need to sort of document what's the point of it, what do we ultimately want someone to think after watching one of these episodes.
Yeah.
And then hopefully they'll become more purposeful. At the minute, it's just experimentation.
Yeah, and I think
still recorded.
Yeah, cool. I think one of the really important things, this is all part of the journey. It's all about learning, and one of the key parts of this journey is learning about how we use vlogging, and how we make it meaningful. Because I think just recording us doing stuff, and then publishing that isn't necessarily overly meaningful for anybody. But as soon as we've got that real sort of direction and purpose behind it, then I think we can make it increasingly meaningful. But it's just, again, it's an important part of the learning process, and that's why we're documenting this, because it is the learning process that we're going through. So certainly from my side, like having reviewed that video, I'm happy with it. I'm happy that we get it out there. I'm happy that we publish it, because a big part of what we're doing is saying, look, let's do this. Let's get it out there, and let's learn in the process. And let's document that learning.
I think one of the things when you commit to a weekly schedule is A, you've got to film a lot of stuff, and B, you can't really spend too much time reviewing the one that's going to go out, because you kind of need to focus on the next one. And it's not like we are trying to make one video to kind of all encompass everything we want to say.
But maybe like something that we could think about is just like we've got a snippet of the video actually just open on Chris's screen that I'm looking at, and it's got doing it in public, and maybe after each thing we could just sort of say lesson learned or lesson 1, doing it in public isn't scary, just do it, and lesson 2, so at the very least, if someone watches the blog, they learn between one, or they get a very clear idea of, okay, these were the 1 to 3 to 5 lessons that we learned this week on our growth journey. And then if someone watches a 2-minute video and they go, oh look, recording a vlog in public when I'm walking down the street, it's not scary. And one of my challenges might be, I think I haven't got time to record a vlog. And actually, do you nip out to the shops? Could you just record it there? It's not scary, no one looks at you, you're just chatting. And actually the sound quality, all of those things were perfectly reasonable in terms of watching it. So if you've got something on your mind or something you want to communicate and you really push for time, maybe you're like mega busy, when you nip out for lunch, could you just record it there? And you just proved, you can. No one stops in the street and gives you weird looks, and we work in a part of town where if people were going to heckle you in the street, they would heckle you in the street. And you even had some nice background music there, because there was a busker, so there was actually some nice little background music as you were walking on the street, which was pretty cool. So I think like perhaps we could try that, just go lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. Someone can watch something for 2 minutes and they can get those 3 lessons, and they don't need to listen to us going on and on and on about something. Bang. Cool. And I think actually suddenly then those nice little snippet videos become really useful for someone else wanting to go on this journey, because they can watch something, it's only 2 minutes. I love what the Video Club are doing and just pulling a little extract out of it and dropping it in there, because it's making it fun as well.
I think this is forcing us to create a lot of footage, and if we're making half an hour footage every week, like some of that's going to end up in this video and some of it's not, and I think we need to put some thought into what are we going to do with the stuff that doesn't make the cut, and is there anything valuable? What do we do with it? So I think we should be probably, if there was one 5-minute thing where we only ended up with a minute of it in the video, that 5-minute thing.
Because part of something else that we were just discussing before, I think from the previous one when we were debating, should these videos be short, should they be long? One of the things we discussed is actually like a lot of the people that we would like to be viewing this probably like going to be entrepreneurs, they're running their own business, they don't have a lot of time on their hands. And the nice thing about this is it's like short, sweet, bang, you can watch it for 2 minutes. You might get something funny, hopefully you can learn a couple of lessons, job done. And I think a lot of people, they don't have a lot of time and they don't have particularly long attention spans for this type of stuff. So they could just watch it, cool, I've learned 1 or 2 things from that, awesome, job done. And then if they wanted to go into more detail, we can use it like as an index. So maybe below the YouTube, we could say, if you're interested in watching more about this subject, you can watch Steve and Chris talk about it for 10 minutes. And the thought process that went into the 10-second snippet that you saw.
Because you can put video cards that pops up with a little, I don't know, watch more and then click on the button.
And I, to me, that's really cool because we're not saying, here's everything, you've got to watch everything. Because I think that someone's going to have a reasonable amount of time on their hands to watch all of that.
Yeah.
And I think actually, if they're interested in that particular topic, if we're just giving them a cue to be able to watch more on it, then that's really cool. And then we're not wasting that, because if like one person viewing it would find that useful, it's worth us putting it out there.
Especially if it's the right person. You know, we're not trying to get a million new clients. We want a real small number of the right people.
Yeah. But also my view is like, I think the cumulative effect of this will hopefully help us to attract those right clients. If just it helps like one person out there, doesn't matter whether they're the right client for us or not, that's sort of irrespective. But if it helps one person out there make a decision or help them on their journey, it's doing a worthwhile job. It's worth publishing because it's helped someone. That's cool. We're thinking less about, is this going to help us? It's more like, will it help someone else? Because we're having this discussion because it's going to help us. We're not having it just for the fun of it. But in terms of, do we publish it out there? Do we think this is going to help someone out there? If the answer is yes, let's publish it. If we're like, no, it's just us chatting about stuff and working shit out, we probably don't need to burden the internet with that. But if we think, there's some valuable stuff in there for people to learn from, cool, let's publish it.
I feel like if we can help people get there quicker by, you know, showing what works and what doesn't work, and our kind of like thought process and how we're getting from A to B, it's got to help. You know, if you could learn the mistakes or the good things that we've done just by watching a 10-minute of us ramble on about something, you might learn more in that 10 minutes than you would in the week of us doing the thing. So if we can condense our...
But I think what would be nice, we could publish that stuff out there, it can be available for people, we can optimize it so that they could find it for those relevant terms that we're discussing in that particular video snippet. But then if we think, actually, these are things that we think our audience who are watching our journey are likely to be interested in, let's put cues for them to watch more on that particular subject.
So how about if, because I think this is a valuable thing as we're learning, we're making an episode once a week, maybe we should record us critiquing it each week, because I think what we have learned by doing it, we could make a sort of like, you know, like X Factor, what's the other thing on TV2?
I'm thinking Gogglebox, our own Gogglebox.
I don't know if that's trademarked, but not necessarily watching us watch it, but like we watch it and then we say what we like and what we dislike and then what we're going to do next. That is, I don't think that needs to be a very well edited video. That could literally just be like recording us talking about it.
Yeah, like this. So, you know, I think it's quite nice actually us sitting in front of the computer, it's just on a webcam, we're just recording it. And also then, one of the things that we can talk about is this was recorded on this camera, this was recorded on the webcam, this was recorded on this camera, so that again people can just sort of learn, you know, if they want to do their own vlogging, that they can learn, okay, actually I can just record on these different devices and it looks perfectly fine. Or they could decide, actually that's not good enough for me, I want to record it on a better quality device, and this is why I want to record on a better quality device. We're helping people learn and understand that. If their thing is, I'm not recording this, it's like, it's really easy, there's bloody cameras on pretty much every device, just do it. Or alternatively, it's like, no, I want it to be of a certain quality level, therefore I need to set up a camera, I need to put on a tripod, bang, whatever it might be.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right, good for that.